It was a quiet night in Westlake Village, the kind of place where the manicured lawns and sprawling homes whisper promises of the good life. But on August 26, 2003, that promise was broken. A sleek black limousine sat parked, its engine cold, a silent witness. Inside, the driver was slumped over the wheel. His name was Socrates Pimentel. He had been shot. The scene was clean, too clean. No signs of a struggle, no robbery. Just a man, a car, and the chilling finality of a single, well-placed bullet. It felt less like a random act of violence and more like an appointment with death. Socrates Pimentel was a man chasing a dream. He had come to Los Angeles from Brazil, a place of vibrant sun and endless energy, hoping to build a new life for himself. He was handsome, charming, and by all accounts, a hard worker. He drove the long black cars that ferried the city's elite from one important place to another. He saw the world of wealth and power from the other side of the glass partition, always the observer, never the participant, or so it seemed. The first thread detectives pulled on led them to a woman who on paper was Socrates Pimentel's past, his ex-wife. They had divorced, moved on with their lives. That's the official story, the one you tell your friends. But love, as it so often does, refuses to follow the rules. It turned out Socrates and his ex-wife were not so ex after all. They were secretly seeing each other, rekindling a romance that had never truly died. It was a clandestine affair, hidden from the world. A stolen happiness they kept just for themselves. In a city of illusions, they had created one of their own. This secret romance added a new, dangerous layer to the investigation. A hidden relationship is a powerful motive. It breeds jealousy, resentment, and betrayal. Who else knew? Who might have felt threatened by this reunion? The ex-wife, her name now central to the case, had also moved on. She was involved with another man, a wealthy and influential businessman. Suddenly, the quiet cul-de-sac where Socrates died didn't seem so random anymore. It started to look like a destination, a place chosen with cold, calculated precision. The businessman's name was Robert Blake Benson. He was everything Socrates Pimentel was not. Where Socrates was a striver, Benson had arrived. He was a successful entrepreneur. Deals were made with a handshake. Problems were made to disappear. He had provided Socrates' ex-wife with a life of luxury, comfort, a world away from the one she had shared with her former husband. Benson was known for his commanding presence, meticulous attention to detail. He liked control. He demanded it. And he had recently discovered that the woman he loved was deceiving him. The ex-wife, caught in an impossible situation, tried to navigate between her past and her present. She was living with Benson, sharing his home, sharing his life, all while secretly meeting the man she had once promised to love forever. It was a dangerous game. The stakes were higher than she could have imagined. Benson, unaccustomed to being second best, wouldn't accept defeat gracefully. His jealousy, detectives learned, was not quiet. It was an all-consuming fire. He started monitoring his ex-wife's movements, questioning her constantly. The big break in the case didn't come from a fingerprint or a strand of DNA. It came from a tip, a whisper. Someone knew something. That someone was a young man named Heriberto Eddie Garcia. He was a small-time criminal, a kid from the neighborhood, but he held the key to the entire investigation. Garcia told detectives a story that sounded ripped from a movie script. He said he had been hired to do a job, hired to kill a man. He claimed the person who hired him was Robert Blake Benson. Benson would pay, Garcia would pull the trigger. Investigators went to work to corroborate Garcia's story. They turned to the digital world, phone records, text messages, the invisible breadcrumbs of modern communication. There it was, a flurry of calls and texts between Benson and Garcia before Socrates Pimentel's death. Next, follow the money. A murder for hire is a transaction. They found large cash withdrawals shortly before the murder. It was the payment. The money trail tied Benson to the hitman and backed Garcia's confession. Benson's wealth, the tool of his empire, had become the evidence against him. The trial of Robert Blake Benson was a spectacle. It captivated the city, a real-life film noir playing out in a Los Angeles courtroom. Here was a story with all the classic elements. A beautiful woman. A tragic victim. The prosecution laid out its case with methodical precision, presenting the jury with the damning evidence, the text messages, the phone calls, the bank withdrawals, and at the center of it all was the testimony of Eddie Garcia, the young man who pointed his finger directly at Benson. In 2006, the jury delivered its verdict. guilty. Robert Blake Benson was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The man who thought he could control everything had lost his freedom forever. The public's fascination with the case was a reflection of its timeless themes, the dark side of love and the tragic consequences of unchecked envy. In the end, this was a story with no winners, only victims. Socrates Pimentel lost his life, a man killed for the simple crime of loving someone. His ex-wife was left to live with the devastating knowledge that the love triangle she was a part of had ended in bloodshed. And Robert Blake Benson, a man who had everything, lost it all because he could not stand to lose one thing.